stopped being distracting once we started talking about the fate of Pincus's family. Tell us what happened when you got to the camp.
As soon as we arrived there, we were being separated into different groups. And my sister was somehow pushed towards the children. And I saw her, she must have spotted my mother, so she ran towards my mother, I saw my mother, and she hugged her. And since that time, all I can remember whenever I think of my sister is her long, big, long, blonde braids.
That was the last time he saw his twin sister, Sabina. He learned later that day that she and both his parents had been killed in the gas chambers. Pincus was alone at age 11, put to work as a slave laborer. Did you ever see anybody killed?
Unfortunately, I saw many people die in front of my eyes. There were people.
I wasn't sure how a recording would handle what I wanted to ask Pincus next. How can you still have faith in God?
How can you possibly not believe in God?
Well, how did he let this happen?
God gave human beings the knowledge of right and wrong, and he allowed them to do what they wished on this earth, to find their own way. To my mind, when God sees what human beings are up to, especially things like genocide, he weeps.
Wow. Stephen, I could ask him questions for 10 hours. And on the screen.
Yeah.
Since Pincus Gutter was filmed, the Shoah Foundation has recorded interviews with dozens more Holocaust survivors, each for a full week. And they've shrunk the setup required, so they can take a mobile rig on the road to record survivors close to where they live. They've deliberately chosen interview subjects with all different wartime experiences. Survivors of Auschwitz, hidden children, and as we saw last fall in New Jersey, 93-year-old Alan Moskin, who isn't a Holocaust survivor. He was a liberator.
Entering that camp was the most horrific sight I've ever seen or ever hope to see the rest of my life.
Moskin was an 18-year-old private when his army unit liberated a little-known concentration camp called Gunskirchen.
There was a pile of skeleton-like bodies on the left. There was another pile of skeleton-like bodies on the right. Those poor souls, that's the term my lieutenant kept screaming, "Oh my God, look at these poor souls." Look.
Each of Alan Moskin's answers is then isolated by a team of researchers at the Shoah Foundation office.
I remember the expression and the attitude of all of us. What the freak, what is this, God Almighty?
Who add into the system a variety of questions people might ask to trigger that response.
For every question that we asked, there are 15 different ways of asking the same question, and that's fed in. And that's all manual.
Editors rotate the image, turn the green screen background into black, and then a long process of testing begins, some of it in schools.
So, Mr. Pincus, on your screen.
Students are asked to try it out, ask whatever questions they want, and see if the system calls up the correct answer.
How did you find out that your city was getting invaded by Germany? Did you ever want to speak your name?
How did you feel about your family?
Can you rephrase that, please?
Every question and response is then reviewed.
We log every single question that's asked of the system and see if there is a better response that addresses that question more directly.
As we discovered, it's still a work in progress. Tell us about your family when you were a little boy.
How about you ask me about life after the war?
So a couple of things about artificial intelligence. It is mainly artificial and not so intelligent.
Yeah, for now.
But the beauty of artificial intelligence is it develops over time. So we aren't changing the content. All the answers remain the same. But over time, the range of questions that you can ask will be enhanced considerably.
And you had to stay silent?
Questions to draw out what it was like for conversation with Aaron Elster, as well as one with a survivor of Joseph Mengele's infamous twin experiments at Auschwitz, when we come back.
So, am I a lucky guy? Yes, I am.